Thank you for staying with us on the news at 10. Nigeria's labor unions are insisting that there is no going back on the demand for 66,500 naira new minimum wage for workers. And that's the stand taken by the leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress as a public hearing on a new minimum wage begins in Abuja. The federal government set up the National Minimum Wage Review Committee last year following a series of protests by workers on the urgent need to review the 18,000 naira minimum wage.
Solidarity forever, for the union makes us peace.
It's the first public hearing by the new Minimum Wage Committee in Abuja. Members of the committee, led by the governor of Osun State, listen as labor leaders make their contributions. For the trade unionists, there is no going back on the proposed 66,500 naira new minimum wage by the Trade Union Congress and the Nigerian Labour Congress.
Minimum wage of 18,000 since 2011 cannot take me and you anywhere. So the Labour is saying that our demand is to be paid 66,500. What did I say? 66,000? No more.
It is rather unfortunate that past administrations had not thought it fit to take steps to comply with these provisions as and when due.
The workers also want the committee to review the disparity that exists in the salaries of civil servants in some ministries and agencies of government.
There is need for the committee to consider recommending the implementation of salary structure relativity among all federal government establishments. While not advocating for the downward review of the salaries and allowances of these parastatals, considerable review and introduction of some allowances should be contemplated to mitigate this obvious disparity.
However, the committee is giving workers the assurances of the government that the proposals will be appropriately considered.
You have spoken, we have heard you, and we shall go into into consideration your submission. Particularly, the submission made by the chairman of the pensioners in Nigeria is quite important to consider both the active workers and the passive workers.
Although the current 18,000 naira minimum wage law was passed by the National Assembly in 2011, not all states in the Federation have complied. As the new wage committee commences its work, workers can only hope that the outcome of the public hearing will improve their current status. And that's it from the nation's capital. We rejoin Amarachi and the rest of the team in our Lagos studio for the rest of News at 10. Amarachi.
Thanks a lot, Ibrahim. The Kaduna State government has filed a fresh 8-count charge of murder against detained leader of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria, Ibrahim El-Zakzaky. The lawsuit, which has been confirmed by the Shiite leader's lawyer, Mr. Femi Falana, is coming amid protests by his followers demanding his release from detention. Mr. Falana says the charges against El-Zakzaky include culpable homicide, punishable by death. The offences were allegedly committed in December 2015 during clashes between members of the movement and the convoy of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, in Kaduna. Since then, Sheikh El-Zakzaky and his wife have been in the custody of the Department of State Services, despite court rulings authorizing his release. A high court sitting in the Baitama area of Abuja has declared the detention of former FCT Minister Bala Mohammed by the EFCC as unlawful and a violation of his right to liberty. The trial judge, Justice Hussein Baba Yusuf, who made the order, also awarded the sum of 5 million naira against the Anti-Graft Commission as damages for the former minister's detention. In his ruling, the judge held that keeping the former minister beyond 48 hours constitutes an infringement of his personal right to liberty, and that the EFCC's refusal to release him based on a court remand order cannot hold water. The EFCC is accusing the former FCT minister of a 6-count charge bordering on abuse of office, false declaration of assets and fraud to the tune of 864 million naira. XDS Credits Bureau, Nigeria's first licensed credits bureau outfit, now has a new corporate identity, a new logo and a new name. The foremost company in credit reporting and debt recording has transformed into first central credit bureau. At the unveiling ceremony in Lagos, the company's chairman, Mr. Moses Ihonde, says the company is repositioning to meet the country's credit information service needs and serve subscribers more efficiently.
This is a gathering of guests, well-wishers, partners and regulators drawn from various aspects of the financial sector to witness a corporate rebranding that intends to drive a positive course in Nigeria's credit system.
The use of credit reports has invariably created a responsible credit culture, reduced the need for fiscal collateral, enhanced the lending decision-making process, facilitated more access to credit and a better economic life.
XDS Credit Bureau, a purchaser in the credit reporting and debt recording system, is rebranding. But before the unveiling, let's hear the underpinning factor for the change and what is to be achieved.
Ours was born of a need to reposition the company in the industry and to further develop our corporate identity.
The rapid changes we see in technological development and financial needs behoves re-examination of some new and performed approach. Hence, we are pleased that the rebranding in itself is a form of invitation from old to new. And this is not only symbolic in change of name, logo and color, but also significant as a form of invitation into novelty in the terms of execution. It is my pleasure to welcome and announce to you the new identity of XDS Credit Bureau.
The phenomenon of credit bureau may not be widespread, but it has been strongly embraced by the CBN. So the change from XDX to First Central Credit Bureau is transformational rather than transitional.
We collect information from various sources, tradition and non-tradition, which means that we get information from the financial institutions, we get from insurance companies, from mortgage houses, finance houses, telecoms, discos. Anybody who does any form of borrowing should be a customer of Credit Bureau.
One of the key take-home is the awareness this event brings in helping you build credible access to money and capital, built from a track system made possible by the first in the industry, First Central Credit Bureau.
The Bank of Industry's lending to micro, small and medium enterprises has increased to 29.5 billion naira in 2017 as opposed to 8.2 billion naira in 2016. Now, these figures were given by the chairman of the board of directors of the bank, Aliyu Diko, at the 58th annual general meeting of the bank in Abuja. Mr. Diko also noted that profit before tax for the bank increased to 26.3 billion naira in 2017 from 16.9 billion naira in 2016, representing a growth of 55.6%. Our correspondent, Kayla Megwa, has the report.
Bid to transform Nigeria's industrial sector by providing financial and business support services to enterprises, the Bank of Industry is mandated to provide financial assistance for the establishment of large, medium and small projects, as well as the expansion, diversification and modernization of existing enterprises. This, according to officials, is the hallmark of the bank. And at its 58th annual general meeting, the chairman of the bank announced that the disbursement profile of the bank in 2017 was 122.5 billion naira, a 44.6 billion naira increase from 2016. And the lending to micro, small and medium enterprises in the same year saw a 200% increase from the year before.
We had approved the appointment of new directors to declare dividend, to approve the appointment of auditors and also to approve that the directors fix the remuneration of auditors.
The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Bank of Industry had promised at the last annual general meeting to raise more money in 2017. According to him, the target was surpassed, which has led to the figures being seen for the year.
In the SME space, repayment is generally not as good as in large enterprises. Yes, we are looking more into the IT space. We think we should support that area. So either manufacturing or we're looking at the hubs to encourage the youth. So we play a bit more in the IT space in 2018.
2018 will see the Bank of Industry launch into the information technology space to encourage more young people to borrow to start as well as expand their businesses. This, it is hoped, will replicate the growth experienced in 2017 in the oil and agricultural sector. Kayla Megwa, Channels Television News.
That takes us into more business news now. Here's Anne Wawodo.
You first. First Bank.
Thank you. I'm Amarachi. Welcome to Business News. The Nigerian Communications Commission remitted 49.7 billion naira to the federal government's Consolidated Revenue Fund in the first quarter of this year. Nigeria's telecoms industry has been contributing 10% per annum to the GDP within the last 4 years, with a value-added services segment estimated to hit $500 million by the year 2021. The industry currently has 150 million subscribers and a broadband penetration of 22%. British industrialist Sajeev Gupta is in talks to purchase the UK subsidiary of Nigeria's Tier 2 lender Diamond Bank. Over the past few years, Gupta, who's the executive chairman of energy group GFG Alliance, has been snapping up distressed industrial assets in Britain, Australia and the United States of America. His purchase of Diamond Bank UK for an undisclosed sum is subject to UK's approval, having already received approval from Nigerian authorities. But on completion, it will be renamed British Commonwealth Trade Bank. The month-to-date performance of the equities market dipped marginally to 181 basis points at the close of trading today. Let's join Joke Rogers for the details.
Hello and welcome. The stock market ended flat today, settling 0.01% down as the all-share index closed at 40,752 points. Orlando regained its position as the best performing stock, while investors cut down interest in Nigerian Microfinance Bank by 8.91% as seen on the losers chart. GT Bank was the most actively traded stock with 64 million units of shares, trailed closely by Diamond Bank. On the sectoral front, the consumer goods sector was the only portion in the green, leaving the insurance market with the highest decline by 49 basis points. That's the stock market report. I'm Joke Rogers.
Thanks a lot, Joke. Royal Dutch Shell delivered more than $5 billion in free cash flow, increasing its first quarter earnings for this year, and that's its highest since 2013. The oil giant says that higher oil prices and years of cost-cutting measures have boosted the first quarter profit by 69% to $5.7 billion. Royal Dutch Shell stopped short of launching an anticipated $25 billion share buyback program. More earnings from big oil firms like ExxonMobil and Chevron Group are expected tomorrow, with eyes on British petroleum numbers for the 1st of May this year. The European and US markets settled northward today after the European Central Bank left rates unchanged. Let's check out other numbers from the global scene. Thanks a lot for watching Business News Tonight. I'm Anne Nwawadu. It's back to you, Marachi.
You first. First Bank.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Super Eagles to play their farewell match against Congo Democratic Republic in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, before leaving for the 2018 World Cup in Russia. We'll have details on that in sports news. Stay with us.